The Diocese of Paisley podcast comes to you from Howwood, where I'll be talking to Canon Sean Cunney as he celebrates 70 years of priesthood.
Canon Sean, thanks so much for joining me in the podcast, and congratulations for 70 years since the ordination to the priesthood in 1955. So first of all, if you can just tell me about your childhood growing up in Ireland, and did you come from a large family?
Yes, we lived out in the country. My father and mother were teachers in the local school. We had a small farm, and we also had to rear a young first cousin of ours whose father was killed. And we had a farm, so there was hard work. But we lived out in the country, and there were 7 of us in the family. I had 2 sisters and a brother older than me, and 2 sisters and a brother younger than me. We went to the local school, which was about a mile or 2 away. We walked to the church, which was about 3 miles away. Even in the winter time and the very bad weather, we used to love going to the church when there was snow on the ground as children. And there was no heating in the church, there was no lighting in the church. There was no electricity at that time in that area. But it was hard work on the farm, but we were young, we thought nothing of it. And we were also instructed, frequently sent by my mother to somebody who was sick. We had a lot of sickness in the area, a lot of TB, and we were often sent to homes with, my mother had a basket that opened at either end. We never opened it because we think that was sacred. In that would be bread or butter or whatever they think the mother thought she would need. And that was maybe where I got a great love for the sick, which I have to this day. Now, eventually I became an altar boy. We used to serve Mass in the church, and we had fantastic priests. We admire them. In the parish, there were about 4 different schools, but we went to a local school, which is about an hour's walk away from us. And while I was serving Mass in the parish church, I had an idea of becoming a priest like the priest we had. He was a very lovely, saintly man. So later on, I went to the secondary school, what we called the high school. We had a fantastic chaplain, and during his Mass, I had a great desire to become a priest. So when I finished my hires, I didn't go straight away to a seminary. I went to the Dublin University to study in engineering, mechanical and electrical engineering. And this man, Father Peyton, came to see us, and he asked me one day, he said, "You had an idea or an ambition to become a priest. Why don't you leave your engineering and become a priest?" And because I got this message from him, a saintly man, I took that message to be from our Blessed Mother. And 2 months later, I was in St. Patrick's College in Carlow to study for the priesthood for the foreign missions. Sometime while I was there, shortly afterwards, the Archbishop of Glasgow and the Bishop of Motherwell and the Bishop of Paisley came to the college to try and get more priests for Scotland. 5 of us volunteered to come to Scotland, and over the years, about 60. We met nearly every year for our college reunion, and we all agreed time and again that Scotland was good to us and that the people were extremely loyal, as they are to the present day with our priests.
And what, Canon Sean, was life like in seminary? I know that you were at university first. Was it quite tough?
Life in the seminary was very basic. We were supposed to have heating in the school, in the college, but the heating was almost non-existent. Okay in the summertime, but not in the wintertime. We got home for summer for a month, but not at Christmas or Easter. And life was pretty tough. I often told when I was prison chaplain, I often told the prisoners that we had a tougher life than you have in prison. But maybe that's not proper to say that. But however, it was tough in college, but we survived it.
So when you became ordained in 1955, did you come straight over to Scotland first?
Well,
or
we had volunteers to come to Scotland, so we came to Scotland. I was ordained on the 5th of June, which was a Sunday, and 2 months later, I was called over here to Scotland.
And your first parish?
The first parish was in St James's, Renfrew.
Oh, okay.
And I was 8 years there. She was at 8 or 12. I think it's 8. And we had the high school, also attended St Mary's Academy. We had the primary school, which is part of our job, to go to the school regularly, a couple of times a week. And attended the sick and attended the parish. We used to visit nearly every home at that time. Then, after 8 years there, I was moved to St Patrick's, Greenock. And we had 2 hospitals, the General Hospital and the Mental Hospital, which I became chaplain to eventually, and also the prison, Gateside Prison, and I was appointed chaplain there. I spent 12 years in St Patrick's, and then was moved up to St John's, Port Glasgow, where again we had parish work, and I was chaplain to the high school, St Stephen's High School.
And I was one of your altar boys in St John's as well. Yeah.
You were one of my altar boys, yeah. And I was 8 years there, and then I was asked to open the new parish in Erskine, where there was no house or church. I said Mass in the school, St Anne's School, and I designed and had built the church and house in St Bernadette's in Erskine. And I was 12 years there, and then I was moved over asked to go to Howard, where I had to see to building a new house and a hall, and do up the grounds because they were in a bit of a mess. But every parish I was in, I always thank God for it. I got on very well and was very happy in every parish I was in, as I think most of our priests were.
And you've always had great devotion, Canon Sean, to Our Lady, and a long connection to Lourdes and the sick in particular.
Yes.
Can you remember your first visit to Lourdes?
Well, my very first visit was in 1954, the year before I was ordained. I came over here to Scotland and went with the Paisley Diocese by train to Lourdes. And when I came back here then as a priest, in 1958, the centenary years, I took my first pilgrimage to Lourdes. And a couple of years afterwards, I started taking a pilgrimage every year. With the result that I've been in Lourdes about 50 or 55 times. And maybe I try to get every year. I was appointed pilgrimage director and also chaplain to the sick. And a number of years ago, I got the highest honour that could be given in Lourdes, chaplain to the grotto. I got a beautiful medal in there. And I still go, and I now go with the Glasgow Archdiocese, because Father Dennis goes with Paisley Diocese. And I love going there. And the nurses have adopted me as their chaplain. So I get on famously with them. I had them here recently for a preparation day.
Oh, good.
And I still go to Lourdes. Now I have to be in a wheelchair, but 2 of the youth from Glasgow are allocated to push me around. And that's what they do.
Great. You've been involved in St Vincent's Hospice Howard during your time as parish priest here at Christ the King, and continue to visit in your retirement. It's obviously a place that means a great deal to you.
It's a place to stay in because I think I got that love for the sick from the days I was at home. As I said, when we were sent to with a basket of food or something to the sick people. And I had that love for the sick in every parish I was in. Anyone who was seriously ill, I often went to them every day. And when St Vincent's Hospital opened here, I still go every day to the hospice, if I possibly can, except when I'm on holidays. And they take 8 patients, and I've helped, they're not all Catholic patients, of course, but I try to visit every one of them, and I still do. And I love going there.
Oh, that's
And the
brilliant.
nursing staff are just second to none.
You and I are both pioneers, Canon Sean, and you're several more decades a pioneer than myself. And I just wanted to know, did you become a pioneer before priesthood, or was that after you were ordained?
It was before priesthood. I was in the high school. That would be, oh gosh, what year was it? 1938, I think it was. It was before I left high school anyway. And I kept it up.
Yeah. And I know that you've got fantastic pastimes in golf, fishing, game hunting.
Yeah.
And they've always been great pastimes for you. And do you still play golf at the moment?
I do.
Good man, excellent.
I should say I attempt to play golf every week. Some days are good and some days are not good. That's what golf is all about. I still love fishing. I don't do any shooting now. I find walking and standing too much. But I still like to go fishing. And I wasn't too keen on football, but I loved hurling, which is very like shinty, which is the same game. I loved that game. And I also played rugby. I often say to people that I played in Lansdowne Road, which is the biggest rugby pitch in Dublin, in Ireland. Now, what happened was, at the back of the big stand was a football pitch there, a rugby pitch, and that's where we played. But it's all still under Lansdowne Road. So I might be cheating when I say I played good. And so, oh, you must have been very good. Oh, I said I was. But it wasn't the main pitch, it was the secondary pitch we were on. But I did it, I loved it, I never got badly hurt at it. So rugby and hurling.
Yeah, well, you and I have enjoyed the odd game of golf together and fishing as well. But what's the favourite golf course that you've played on?
Well, I went to America and I played in America, in San Diego. And I loved the course. The courses there were very special. But there was the one here, and I'm a member still of Kilmacombe. And we play now here at Lochwinnoch. And they're both lovely courses. I think the courses in Scotland are all lovely.
Yeah. And do you like music at all? I know you get so many hobbies, but do you have time to listen to music?
I do.
Yeah.
And at one time I used to play the piano and play the organ. I loved the organ. But unfortunately, I didn't keep it up. One thing and another, I didn't have time to practice. I used to play the organ in St. John's, Port Glasgow, and in St. Patrick's, and different places. I played it for a wedding in Glasgow, and this kind of thing. I love the organ, it's a beautiful instrument, but I don't play it now.
Do you have a particular favourite hymn at all?
The favourite hymn I have is the one in honour of our Blessed Mother, Holy Mother, by God's decree. It's I've asked to have that sung at my funeral.
Which I hope several years away. But just to finish, and I know there may be other things that you want to cover, which is absolutely fine, but knowing what you know now with 70 years experience in the priesthood, if you could give your young self some advice going into priesthood, what would that be?
Well, I suppose the obvious answer to that is to pray. Be people of prayer, because we have no strength without the help of God. We can do nothing without Him, and especially with our Blessed Mother. She's the mother of priests, the mother of Jesus, the mother of priests. And have a great love and connection with her. I would say that to any priest. She will never let you down. She's always there for us. And she was very, very good to me. I talk to her time and all day, more or less. And I don't always get what I want, but I get what I need.
Which is the most important thing.
Which is more important.
And we'll be having a celebratory mass for you as well, for your 70 years. And that'll be a lovely occasion as well. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Canon Sean, before we wind up this lovely talk we've had?
I love going to the school. I still go to the school about 2 or 3 times a week. I love to talk to the children. In fact, one wee boy who was in primary 1, when he heard what age I was, he said to me one day, "Father Sean," I said, "What is it?" He said, "See now that you are ancient, have you seen God?" And I said, "No, not yet." And he said, "Is God older than you?" I said, "He is a lot older than me." And one day he came from Mass, went to school, and he went home and told his parents, "You'll never guess who was my class today." He said, "Who? God himself." And I can understand how that happened. Maybe in the church he wasn't paying attention, and his father and mother would say, "Be quiet," because the priest, the God is up there. And all he could see, of course, was the priest to see me. So I suddenly became God. I saw some of the priests and they said, "Did you correct him?" I said, "No, he'll soon find out."
Well,
I love the children. And I think I inherited that from my father, who had a tremendous love for children. And I think I probably inherited that from him.
Is there anything else before we finish our interview that you'd like to mention? Or
Well, I think the main thing I want to get over to on Thursday night is the loyalty of our people and how good our people were, how good Scotland were to us and to all our priests, and how loyal our people are to the priesthood and to the priests. I think that's very, very important. Because I see, not mentioning any names, I see in other countries where it's the other way around. Frightening.
Yeah. Okay, Canon Sean, thanks so much for your time, and once again, congratulations on 70 years of priesthood.
You could say that I never regretted any day of it.
Wonderful.
I hope you enjoyed our podcast, and please like and leave us a review wherever you listen.